Good evening, YouTube. Hell's Unicorn here once again, and I'm going to be doing yet another improvised talk about basically current events and the upcoming election. At this point in time, I've pretty well given up on getting all or most of what I want out of the election that's coming up. It's been pretty well decided that the Tea Party has been pretty well co-opted by a slightly more mainline conservative variant on the neocon movement, spearheaded by pseudo-libertarian Glenn Beck and so-called mainline conservative Sarah Palin, both of which I believe are being dishonest in putting themselves forth as such. But I also have to bear in mind that mixed in with the 2009 Tea Party is the former 2007 one that I joined up with. And as such, I have to make some temporary political alliances in order to essentially keep whatever little bit of the liberty movement is left here viable. And over the course of the next couple of years, probably try in whatever way I can to help weed out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, to separate the good from the bad. And this election, I believe, is going to be nothing more than an exercise in gridlock and damage control. And as such, I've decided to throw in with the Republicans. I actually decided to switch my registration back from the Libertarian Party to the Republican Party so I could take an active role in what's been going on. I'm going to be working the polls in my district here in Pennsylvania next Tuesday. And I'm basically going to be making sure that everything goes smoothly here and that there's no shenanigans. I've thrown in with people that I only half or maybe in some cases even quarter support, for lack of a better term, people like Pat Toomey and Corbett, people that are, I guess, conservative enough and a tiny bit libertarian, at least in terms of economics, so it's better than nothing, but it's definitely less than what I had hoped for and what I'm normally used to supporting when I'm in the Libertarian Party. But nonetheless, it's what I'm left with. I am predicting that the Democratic Party is going to get trounced royally, and that most of the people that are going to be leaving office are going to be so-called blue dog Democrats, which are basically fake moderates. I think that there's going to be a couple of socialistic types that'll pay a price. Barney Frank might be one that gets the boot. Looks like the West Coast tyrant Barbara Boxer might be losing her seat as well. I'll be dancing the jig all night if that happens. But for the most part, what we'll be replacing them with will be marginally conservative alternatives, and what will come about is a government that is essentially stuck and will be doing little. And of course, a government that does little does well. And that's the reason why I've taken the path that I've taken. And I am encouraging any and all people watching this channel to swallow your pride and do essentially what I'm doing, which is to vote, forgive the expression, the lesser of two evils, if only because when the two evils in question are in gridlock with each other, putting on this show for us in a dispassionate attempt at keeping us patriotic, we will at least take comfort in the fact that we won't be dealing with any new horrors, such as a extension of the Obama policy into other fields of our lives, and maybe with a little bit of good fortune, a repeal of that idiotic health care bill that got passed. I've generally had a distaste for two-party politics, which makes this a little bit difficult for me to do, doing what I'm doing right now. I've viewed all of the debates that have gone on between candidates to be extremely petty. There are few politicians that I hold in any level of esteem. One of them being Ron Paul, obviously, and because of that, I've thrown in with his son Rand Paul, and I've been making several videos defending him from attackers on the neo-lib side of the fake political paradigm. Primarily because, regardless of some of the things that he's said that I don't agree with, it's a well understood fact that the apple never falls far from the tree, and while he's playing the political game in order to get elected, I believe that he will be at least as good as a DeMint or a Coburn, which is good enough in my opinion. Not the best we could get, but good enough. I will continue throughout presidential elections to support candidates that I believe are more libertarian than authoritarian, but this midterm election, I'm basically going the mainline conservative route, which is a route that I have not taken since the first time I was old enough to vote, which was about 12 years ago. That was the 1998 election. I think in that election I actually supported Rick Santorum, believe it or not. I regretted that decision ever since he was an utter disaster. But, well, you live and learn, I guess. So feel free to give me your thoughts and your opinions on this. Basically, I agree with just about everybody that's been posting on my videos that have been saying that it's gotten pretty ridiculous the way that the two sides have been so radicalized that they're all but at each other's throats. We have moronic professional agitators out there starting riots at outside of debates. That's essentially what happened with that Lauren Valley lesbo chick or whatever the hell you want to call her. I don't know. I don't know where she gets off calling herself a woman, because when I look at her, that's not what I'm seeing. But forgive that one little interlude back into my Mike Malloy channeling. That's something I've been trying not to do, but whenever I get annoyed, that's who I tend to resemble. And it's, again, not a very pleasant thing considering how much I dislike the guy, but oh well. This was pretty random, but it is what it is. With prudence to myself and benevolence to all of you, good evening.